Remember how in middle school it was so much cooler to pluralize words by putting a Z on the end instead of an S? Well, I hope it's still cool because today on the Cardboard Herald, we're reviewing Queenz, to be or not to be. So, what is this game? This game is a flower drafting game in which there is a display of 6x6 random assortment of flowers, and on your turn, you're either going to draft some of those flowers to your reserve or use flowers in your reserve in order to bloom a new field. Once someone has bloomed 5 fields, then everyone else gets one more turn, and then the game ends. Person with the most points wins. Standard Euro stuff, you get it. Now, what makes this more interesting is that there's a farmer, or I suppose beekeeper, who's walking around the 6x6 grid, and on your turn, you decide what to draft based off of what's in his row. You can take any one flower, whether it has a bee or not on it, of any color, and add it to your reserve, in which case he moves 1 space forward, and then it's the next person's turn. You can take 2 flowers, he moves 2 spaces forward, but the catch is that the 2 flowers cannot have bees on them. Otherwise, no restrictions. Or you can take 3 non-bee flowers, moving 3 spaces forward, and then you have to have 3 different colors, no bees. Got it? Now, the blooming, on the other hand, you end up taking one of these tetromino, polyamino? These oddly shaped 5-space pieces from the display, and you end up putting flowers or beehives on them. And you score points for every single color that you either increased or established a new set of at least 2 in, and you then get that many points. So for example, if you already have in your garden a group of 3 white and you add a new field piece to it and add at least 1 white that's touching those old ones, then you count all of those old ones. If you have a new group that's at least 2 red and it's not touching any other red, you score points for that as well. You're also going to get a honey pot representing the first production of each color, because blue honey is something that you're trying to get, I guess. I don't know, must be delicious. I love honey. I would love to try some blue honey sometime. Is that a thing? I don't know. The reason why you're keeping track of all this honey production is because the first person who produces all the different colors of honey gets bonus points, and then people get successively lesser bonus points when they get all of the different production types. And if you ain't got all the different honey, then you ain't got any bonus points honey. So what makes this game so cool? Well, I'll get to why I was so surprised I liked this game in a little bit, but I was really blown away how tight this game is. I mean, it's quintessential Bruno Catala tactics here, right? You have a few decisions, but they feel really meaningful, and the biggest cost to anything is the opportunity cost in taking one thing and not getting others, and Bruno Catala happened to co-design this game, along with Johannes Goopy, who I haven't heard of, but we'll be checking out their other designs. So the thing that I think I locked into the most is that there's a temporal pressure in this game that happens in a couple different ways. You know how I said that the game ends when someone gets their 5th field and then everyone else gets one more turn? Well, because you can take either 1, 2, or 3 different flowers, being more selective or less selective, you end up thinking that maybe I want to have the specifically correct flowers that are going to be best for my field when I bloom them. But if someone's just busting out these fields because they're taking as many flowers as possible, then they're going to rush the end game. That's really cool. The other thing is that you have to adjust between bees and no bees, because all the flowers are the same in how they score based off of whether they have bees in them or not. But when populating a new field piece, you can also put one of your 3 hives, and those 3 hives allow you to get endgame scoring based off of the bees that are surrounding them, and some flowers have 1, 2, or 3 bees, and you get those endgame points, which again if you can only take one flower at a time, if it has bees, you're having to make really important choices about what's going into your fields, which may make you feel like you're lagging behind, but really pay off in the end. Now, the second thing that I absolutely love about this game is how the board is repopulated, because when you draft something off the field, in most games you would expect that you immediately repopulate it, right? That's instinctive. No, in Queenz, they tell you do not repopulate anything. The field only repopulates in certain circumstances, such as the farmer making its way all the way around the board, or if someone moves onto a space in which that row has no other flowers on it, so it's entirely empty at this point, then you repopulate the whole thing. Same with the polyomino pieces that are your new fields. Those only repopulate during certain intervals as well. And so you are having to choose from different options depending on how soon or how late you're coming to the party. I really love that. And it allows you to have a lot of control in not just what you are able to do, but the things that you are empowering or disallowing your opponent to do. And that feels really, really good. And it's very easy to comprehend. Read the board on what's going to be available and what situations you're putting your opponents into. Now, what didn't work for me? Well, I was genuinely surprised by how much I like this game, because I really thought the box looked not very interesting, and the back looked not very interesting. I'm a guy who likes non-traditional board game themes. I don't need swords and laser beams in order to capture my attention. I love nature themes in board games, but something about it just felt really flat. I thought there was just going to be a quick, I don't know, cash grab on the popularity of spatial puzzle board games that are really popular right now, and that this was capitalizing on the fact that nature themes were kind of becoming more popular right now. And I didn't even realize that this was Vincent Dutrait artwork, which Vincent Dutrait, if you've watched this channel at all, is one of my absolutely favorite artists, and that was completely lost looking at the box. So I would say that it is deceptively beautiful on the table and deceptively interesting as far as gameplay. Outside of that, there's nothing in this game that made me go like, ugh, that didn't really work for me. I mean, if you are someone who wants a lot of broad choices, you want some sort of engine building, you want a game in which you are really, developing a strategy long term, then this isn't going to be the game for you. If you want a game that is just a lot of successive, meaningful decisions that can impact one another and just feel like you are in a groove, then this is totally it. So my overall thoughts are that Queenz is awesome. I think the name is ridiculous. I think the box is deceptive. But outside of that, it is a really, really solid game that has a wonderful table presence when you're actually playing it. And it plays so super quick. And I just want to play it again as soon as I'm done with it. I was totally impressed. This one's staying in my collection, but I want to hear from you. What did you think of it? Thanks for watching. I've been Jack with the Cardboard Herald. If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcast, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.